Welcome to our last full day in southeast Arizona on this birding adventure. It has been such an amazing trip up until this point, and we have so many cool birds ahead of us. Let's see if we can round out this trip with a bang with this amazing group of guys that I got to spend 4 whole days here with. Make sure you stay at the end because there is a neat surprise you won't want to miss. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our last full day in Arizona. And coincidentally, we didn't know this when planning the trip, it's Global Big Day. So we're gonna have a fun day out here birding. It's gonna get pretty hot, so we're gonna limit our birding to mostly the morning. We gotta pack up a bunch of stuff too before we head out tomorrow. Still should be an awesome time. We're checking out another new spot, Montosa Canyon. So come along, let's see what birds we come across today. Before arriving in Montosa Canyon, we scanned the foothills, listening for scaled quail. Well, good news already. One of our main targets was scaled quail, and we're hearing about 4 of them right now. They're just calling around on the hillside all around us, but we can't seem to get any eyes on them. Hoping to get them on video here shortly, but at least we got that lifer down. Unfortunately, no views, but this is what we were looking down into. We got some brief glimpses of birds off in the distance, but nothing close enough to see these birds. And so we continued onwards to try and get some good birds on camera for all of you and pick up more lifers. For reference, we are birding Montosa Canyon south of Tucson, kind of near Santa Rita. This is a really good spot for Five-striped Sparrow, a bird we'd looked for a little bit on our trip already, but couldn't find. We started near the Whipple Observatory in the parking lot area, looking at the birds around. Now first, we thought we had black-capped gnatcatcher. They were moving so fast, we had a handful of juveniles following a male around, and we saw a really dark black cap that got us really excited.
This is black cap.
Turns out, though, upon further deliberation, black-tailed gnatcatchers also have this black cap, and we're pretty positive this is a black-tailed gnatcatcher, not the rare black-capped. And so after that brief stop, it was into Montosa Canyon itself. We drove the road into this beautiful mountain range, and we walked on the dirt path you see to the right here, following some directions that a previous birder had left on their checklist, trying to locate that five-striped sparrow.
Oh, I see it. It's going. Yeah. Damn it.
The first bird hopping around was a cactus wren. Pretty decent views here of a really cool bird. Surprisingly, we didn't see this bird a ton throughout the trip. I did think they would be more prevalent, but it was a treat to see it today, and it did hop up onto a cactus, fulfilling its namesake. We walked up the path further, following some directions from the birders previously, and we started hearing a chirping noise, and it wasn't long before we located our target. That's a lifer, Five-striped Sparrow. These birds have an extremely restricted range, predominantly residing in Mexico, though they do dip into southeast Arizona in the United States. So we were feeling really great that we got to see this one because it's a pretty rare bird and a specialty to this region. Wow, we just got the Five-striped Sparrow. That's really awesome. After missing it the first day in Box Canyon, we were able to pick it up here, which was so great. This bird is really only found here in Arizona and Mexico. It has a pretty tight range, so really fortunate to come across it. In a handful of these canyons here, you only get 2 of them reported at a time. They're mostly in pairs, so they can be hard to track down. Thankfully we got it though. Really awesome bird to see and start this day off on a great note. With declining bird populations all over, it seems like some of these rarer species like the Five-striped Sparrow are getting increasingly harder to see, which is just a bummer. We had talked to some birders earlier in the trip that talked about how much easier birding was back in their younger days. Now, this might have been nostalgia talking, but there is true evidence to support that a lot of these species are in decline. As we were looking around checklists to try and figure out where we could locate this bird, there are only a pair seen in a few different areas here and there on their specific habitat. So again, it was really good to get that bird. Moving along, we saw some canyon wren heading back down the trail. This was really cool, offering us some pretty decent views. You more often than not hear these birds, you don't always get to see them, so getting this close to one was pretty sweet.
Those videos always do so good for me on YouTube. Not like
The
me.
lighting is like.
No photos are like mine.
Lighting.
Well, as we were going between locations, crazy moment here out of the corner. Jordan shouts because there was a Coatamundi about to cross the road and then it dipped off into the grasses. None of us were able to get shots of it. I had one shot just in the grasses. You can kind of see it moving. Dang it, I really wish I would have got that on camera, but really cool mammal to see on this adventure too. I'm not going to comment on those amazing vocals by Jordan, but continuing along the way between locations, we saw a curve-billed thrasher that we did pull over for because we weren't sure if it was something rarer. Still won't get tired of seeing that bird though. We are now moving on to Corral Canyon, a new habitat that had a couple of sparrow species that would be lifers for Ricky and Cossum. This canyon was a lot drier and it was getting to be a little bit hotter in the middle of the day, so a different, more arid environment, very rocky compared to some of the other stuff we had been birding. Let's get to some birding.
Black-throated sparrow.
We parked our car and headed out on foot, looking in the trees and the surrounding area for various bird species. First bird in this hotspot was a nice Wilson's warbler, followed by the very colorful broad-billed hummingbird. This hummingbird seemingly was everywhere throughout our trip, no matter what habitat we were in. And then an unexpected hermit warbler. That was a sweet, brief encounter. These little pockets of water ended up being gold mines for having birds congregate around the area. Now, I don't exactly know what that flycatcher was there, but I will note we got a northern beardless tyrannulet. Finally got that lifer after looking forever for it. You want to go check out Jordan's channel, Bright Eyed Birding, because he got much better clips than me of that bird.
They're so cool.
For such a dry, rocky canyon, it was pretty birdy though. We were having a decent time here, albeit we were dealing with the heat, preferring to stand within the shade as we looked at all of these birds. And maybe some of the birds were feeling this too. This western tanager was opening its mouth in a sort of panting-like motion. Could have been doing another behavior, but I do think maybe it could have been like expelling some heat potentially. But then another bird flew in that I thought was the northern beardless tyrannulet at first, but this is a different type of flycatcher. I honestly don't know which one this is. I am not good at flycatcher ID, and this one never called for us to give a good, for sure identification. Could be a gray flycatcher, a dusky flycatcher. I'm really not sure, so if you know, let me know in the comments. Now finally, some views of a bird we'd been hearing the entire trip, the Bell's vireo. This bird would frequently throw us off as we heard its call, thinking it might have been something else. Now we weren't having any luck with the sparrows down in the rocky canyon here, so we moved back up higher elevation to the flats that were approaching this area. Cossum was eagerly walking around trying to find his target species. Ricky was looking from the car seat as well, and eventually we did see one. Some person had told us they'd seen some up in this area, so we drove around, listened, and we were able to locate a rufous winged sparrow. Great species to tack on all of our friends' life lists for sure. And then we wanted to beat the heat, so we headed from Corral Canyon over to St. Gertrudis Lane to try and bird the same area we went 2 days ago looking for the green kingfisher. So it is getting hot out here in the middle of the day. So we've come back to St. Gertrudis because we remembered how shady it was, and we could actually bear the temperatures here with some nice bit of shade and see what birds are around here before kind of wrapping up our adventures. So we're gonna see if we can pick up the green kingfisher today that we did miss a few videos ago. Wish us luck. We powered forward to go sit along the river again to watch for our kingfisher. Along the way, seeing some of the same species we had seen 2 days prior, like this beautiful summer tanager. Now, one awesome moment was some really good looks at flying over gray hawks. These were better than some of our previous days' experiences, and we did get to see a juvenile along with a few of the adults too. They are very active at this point in the day. Really, really cool. And honestly, gray hawk is up there for my personal favorite bird out of any species. I just think they look so sleek. A really cool raptor. And it certainly helps that my name is Hawken too. As we approached our stakeout spot, we would poke in and out of the riverbank to see if we could get a spot, luckily of a perched green kingfisher. No luck thus far though. Saw a few other friends along the way like that lizard there, and then we reached the rocky bank where we were gonna settle down and wait until we saw it. That was essentially the plan here. There were some good birds around to film as well while we waited for the green kingfisher to make an appearance. Our song sparrow friends joined us yet again.
Bird whisperer Jordan over there.
And then off in the distance, these flashes of red were hard to ignore. More summer tanagers just enjoying the river like we were too. Maybe he was also on the lookout for a green kingfisher. Coming right near us, making some begging calls, were a few Buick's wrens. I think there were some juveniles following an adult around, calling to it constantly.
Sometimes the male feed the female, and the female go to the nest and bark.
All right, we just got the green. Vlog it at the same time. We just got the green kingfisher. We're all sitting here on the ground. We didn't really have our cameras ready because honestly, we weren't expecting to get any media of it. And as we expected, it just zipped right by. Came up from the trees behind us, right down low over the water in front of Jordan, Cossum, and I, and Ricky all sitting here. Awesome to get that bird. Not a lifer for me, but for most of them, which is really exciting. And we staked it out and we got it this time. So mission success. After an afternoon break to beat some of the heat and a little bit of exhaustion I was feeling, we were heading back towards Santa Rita Lodge. But first, we were going to explore the flatter areas to the north of Madeira Canyon. After taking a break to escape the midday heat on this Arizona Global Big Day, we are now back out in the evening trying to get one last hurrah, good sparrow species or maybe a lifer, some good looks at a really awesome bird just to round out the trip. We're heading back to the Grasslands area at the base of Madeira Canyon. It's the Proctor Road we're going to be walking down, but we're probably going to stop along the way, see what birds we can come across, and end this adventure with a bang. Okay, so we just made it to the area where we're going to be walking for a bit, but crazy experience on the way here. We had both a greater roadrunner go across the road, which Cossum and Ricky finally got great views. We saw one earlier in the trip, but they were really hoping for better looks, and that was pretty solid, all things considered. And then we got 3 javelinas crossing right in front of us. We were kind of joking that we'd finally see them on this last evening, and we did. So everyone's kind of like, now, maybe we should start joking about seeing Montezuma quail, but we'll see. Maybe they'll be out here. Let's go find some birds. The sun was getting pretty low at this point, but we still had some eager hope for a species like the Bottery sparrow, or even a rarer Montezuma quail would have been crazy. We started off this little walk though with just a simple canyon towhee. And then one of my favorite moments of the day, the best views of the trip, of a gray hawk. We saw it from this angle, which wasn't the greatest, and we were able to make our way around and see it from the front as well. Really cool views of this species, and I fired off a few photos. The light was a bit harsh, but I still am pretty happy with what I was able to gather from these kind of angles and these conditions. Still cool picture of one of my favorite birds. Seemed like a lifer wasn't in the cards though, as the sun was real low at this point, casting a beautiful golden light as we still searched in the remaining moments of sunshine that we had. A turkey vulture flew overhead, almost signaling and bringing in that this is it for the day. One mule deer kind of finished out what we were going to see in the daylight, but stick around after this vlog because we see something incredible.
Sparrow, it's on the ground.
Arizona has been absolutely incredible. It was an awesome trip with the 3 guys here with me. I had a ton of fun birding the various habitats and stuff we got to see, including some absolute world famous sights that I'm so happy that I got to witness firsthand. I am so glad we made this last minute decision to go up to the lodge here because there was a totally different array of species that we were able to see. First, if you watch these hummingbird feeders closely, there are long-nosed bats that fly up to them. I don't know if they're actually getting nectar out of here or if they're going for bugs or something. It's really hard to tell, but this was really neat and they were just consistently flying back and forth to this area. Apologies that I didn't do a ton of vlogging at this point because I honestly thought the trip was done and I was just relaxing and chatting with the 3 guys that we had spent the whole trip with together, just reminiscing on some of the best moments. And so I didn't even take this picture here that I'm showing you. This is a photo that Ricky got. So shout out to him for letting me use this in my video. Go follow him on Instagram. But there was an awesome moment of this elf owl that I didn't even have my camera for. I just watched it with my bare eyes because I wasn't sure I was going to film anything. I did eventually pull my camera out though, and I'm glad I did because we saw an extremely elusive mammal to cap off the trip. You're looking at a ringtail. I was so happy to get this footage because chatting with the owner and just the people in the area, apparently they're fairly commonly seen here at the lodge, but I guess from what I've heard from other people, they are not an easy species to see in the wild. This was pretty nuts. And for how late in the night it was, I actually got some pretty decent footage of it too that I was very pleased with. For anyone that films, you know how tough it can be in the dark, so for this footage to come out clear, I was just over the moon and thankful that we got to see these species. It felt like such a fitting end to the trip, and it was so fun to experience this moment with the 3 guys, and the whole trip, honestly, with all of those guys along with me, was just incredible. So if you haven't seen my other Arizona videos, make sure to go check those out. A playlist will be linked in the description, but I'll turn it back to me to actually close the video now. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching the whole series if you have. If you haven't, go check out all the other videos from Arizona. But I will see you in the next one. Happy birding.